Welcome to the Southeast Iowa Union News Break. I am your host, Nick Steffens. In this episode, we will continue to dissect the possible merger between Canadian Pacific and KCS. In previous episodes, we've looked at things like noise and safety. In this episode, we're going to look at the crossings. In its environmental impact statement to the Surface Transportation Board, the Office of Environmental Analysis evaluates safety and delays at grade crossings, which are places where the rail meets a road or sidewalk at ground level, as a separate issue from overall rail safety. The proposed CPKC line would include 1,352 such crossings. Of those, 1,134 are expected to see an uptick in daily trains. They range from remote rural spots used by less than 10 vehicles per day to busy urban areas that exceed 20,000 cars and trucks. Across all affected communities, regulators said the merger's increased rail traffic would have only minor adverse effects on delays and accident rates at the crossings. The OEA said blocked crossings would become more frequent if CP-KCS merger went through, but the duration of those delays would be lowered thanks to shorter loads on each train. Increases in rail traffic would increase the total amount of time during the day that some grade crossings would be closed to vehicle traffic, which would cause delay for drivers. However, the reductions in train lengths would reduce the average time a grade crossing would be blocked by each passing train. In some situations, traffic delays are more than an inconvenience. For emergency response vehicles, a few minutes or seconds waiting for a train can have major repercussions. The same concern exists for access to important facilities like water treatment plants. It's a worry many communities have spotlighted. While the proposed merger would help expand our regional economy, there are safety and accessibility concerns regarding the substantial increase in freight traffic, a letter from the Quad Cities Chamber of Commerce to the STB said. Many of our businesses, cultural amenities, and public utilities become inaccessible. With only one access point to many of those properties, increased rail traffic may cause severe disruptions in business operations, prevent timely access of emergency services, and access to critical infrastructure. The OEA studied 28 crossings classified as emergency routes by the Federal Railroad Administration database, the roads most likely to see use by first responders. On average, those crossings would see a slightly greater increase in train-related delays, 1 second instead of 0.7 seconds. All of the grade crossing along emergency vehicle routes have an alternative route, the OEA packet said. For all 28 crossings, however, the alternate route also involves a grade crossing, which could also result in a delay if both routes were to be delayed by a train. In a worst-case scenario, communities and regulators have highlighted a risk of trains stopping on the tracks, a rare but frustrating event that lasts an average of 24 to 97.5 minutes, depending on the community, according to the draft document. Blocked crossings can impact public safety, especially if there are no feasible alternate routes, the OEA document said. Further, blocked crossings may cause trucks to take detours on local streets that might not be equipped to handle trucks. While the OEA had no specific suggestions to Canadian Pacific and Kansas City Southern, the applicants offered their own voluntary measures. Those approaches share a theme of communication with the municipalities impacted by the merger. The companies pledged to consult with local authorities on crossing visibility and detour routes. Additionally, they said they would put in legwork to help those communities with their own solutions. The applicants will, upon request, work with potentially affected communities in support of securing funding in conjunction with appropriate state agencies for crossing mitigation projects where they may be appropriate, another section of the packet said. For the construction of additional track through road crossings where practicable, the applicants will consult with local transportation officials regarding detours and associated signs or attempt to maintain at least one open lane of traffic. Moving along, IMT Insurance, a leading provider of personal and commercial insurance products in the Midwest, recently announced its list of 54 community contest winners, distinguishing City of Washington Wellness Park Playground, submitted by Horak Insurance, as one of the recipients. The IMT Community Contest awards monetary gifts to community projects and organizations within the states the company does business. This year, entries were submitted for consideration from June to July, and 54 awards ranging from $500 to $1,000 were gifted to local projects and organizations in need. With more than 125 entries submitted and $36,000 awarded to worthy causes, City of Mount Pleasant's Wellness Park Playground submission was chosen as one of the 2022 $500 winners. That was our top stories. It is now time for obituaries. Marlene L. Statler of Mount Pleasant passed away on August 16th at the age of 89. Services are pending at the Olson Powell Memorial Chapel in Mount Pleasant. Richard Moen of Buena Vista, Colorado passed away on August 6th at the age of 52. A celebration of life will be held at 10 a.m. August 27th at Clearview Cemetery in Buena Vista, Colorado. We're going to take a brief break, and when we come back, we will have the weather and sports.
Since 1905, Kelowna Cooperative Technology Company has helped our community stay connected with the latest advancements in clear, dependable telecommunications services. KCTC provides rural Iowans with access to high-speed fiber internet, as well as phone, television, computer repair, and cybersecurity solutions. We're also proud supporters of local organizations and area schools within the community. KCTC, keeping Kelowna connected.
Welcome back to the Southeast Iowa Union Newsbreak. I'm your host, Nick Steffens. We will have sports coming up, but first, the weather.
The weather is brought to you by Jacqueline Ariola, LLC.
Come visit Jackie in her new location downtown. She is ready to serve Washington and the surrounding community. You better enjoy today's weather because this weekend is going to be filled with storms. Today has been mostly sunny with a high of 85 and a low of 63. Tomorrow there's a chance of thunderstorms starting in the afternoon with a high of 84. Saturday, the thunderstorms will continue with a high of 74 and a low of 61. We will end the weekend with better conditions though, partly cloudy with a high of 78. And then we will start the work week with some more sun and a high of 80. That was the weather. It is now time for sports.
Sports, brought to you by Fairway.
Coming into the 2022 baseball season, there was speculation of who would come out on top between the Union area big school baseball teams. If one thing is for sure, it's that it was going to be a battle, and it turned out that way. This time around, it was Fairfield who sported the best record out of the big three. With 9 seniors, the Trojans held the most seasoned squad, while Mount Pleasant had 7 and Washington had 6. As the final standing stood, the trio of teams followed in the order, with Fairfield leading, tailed by Mount Pleasant and Washington. On this year's All-Union team, it's Fairfield leading with 6 distinctions, which includes 4 seniors, 1 freshman, and a coach. Washington and Mount Pleasant follow with 4 players each. Washington had 3 seniors and a junior, while the Panthers get a pair of juniors and seniors. The coach of the All-Union squad is Josh Allison of Fairfield, and the captain of the team is Nate Smithberg, also from Fairfield. The first pitcher we have is Jake Ensminger from Mount Pleasant, and then Ethan Patterson from Washington. In Patterson's 6 games on the mound, he gave up just 10 runs on 15 hits and 25 strikeouts on 75 batters faced. Behind the dish is Ethan Zaglovsky of Washington. Zaglovsky was a vocal leader behind the plate at catcher for the Demons. He led the Southeast Conference with 11 total thrown out runners. In the season, Zaglovsky batted .280. He ended with 23 hits, 13 singles, 8 doubles, 2 triples, and 12 RBIs. In the infield, we have Dylan Hunter and Kaysen Miller, both from Fairfield. We have Carter Amos from Mount Pleasant and Lucas Kroll from Washington. Washington senior Lucas Kroll was just one of 3 hitters to start all 27 games and hit over 300 on the season. He ended with an average of 349, third best on the Washington squad. In the outfield, we have Cooper Kelgord of Mount Pleasant, Connor Lyons of Fairfield, and Nate Woodburn of Fairfield as well. In the utility spots, we have Lincoln Hendrickson from Mount Pleasant and Cole Williams from Washington. The Washington first baseman had the second best batting average for the Demons. Not only was Williams one of the biggest hitters in the league, he was also one of the top extra base hitters. He swung the bat with an average of .373, good enough for 5th in the SEC. He was also first in doubles with 12, second in total RBIs with 30, and with 51 total bases, he was 3rd in the conference. That was the news for Washington and the surrounding area. I've been your host, Nick Steffens. This is the Southeast Iowa Union Newsbreak, and I will see you next time.